Hey guys, welcome back to Rad City Design Studio. Let's Resin was really kind and sent me a UV resin starter kit to kind of show off a little bit. I'm gonna walk you through it, show you what's in it, and maybe even we'll do like a little project at the end. But yeah, I've always, every time someone asks, where should I get started? Or what's the basic list of things I need, I always tell them, like, just go get a kit, because it's gonna have everything for you to have like sample size bites of, so that you can then decide what you want to do with it. Like, it's kind of like the cake tasting for your wedding, right? So you get little tiny bits of things to try out to see if you even want to really fully invest in, being a resin artist. It can have a high cost to start up. So that's why having something like this is great for beginners. I'm gonna walk you through it. I'm gonna show you what it comes with. Now, I have opened this already. I have already used it for like a day project that I did with a friend who's visiting from out of town. So it is used already, but that's because I could not resist. So, okay, here we go. So the box is a little banged up because I was overzealous. Now it comes with a mold. This mold obviously has been used. I used this so many times this weekend. It's a great mold. It has a lot of different earring samples that you can do. And like, these two are big enough that you could do it as a necklace or a statement piece. I love these. I've done so many different pairs of these. So super cute mold. And you can get a lot of different combos out of that. It also came with a little set of dried flowers. These are pretty common of what you would see, like if you go on Amazon and search for dried flowers for jewelry. This is, typically what comes up. This, working with flowers is one of the trickiest things in resin. It always intimidates me, and I know it intimidates a lot of other people, especially when you're new. This is a great way to practice. Like, it's a low stakes. You have different things you can work with in here. But yeah, this is a great way for you to kind of like learn the ins and outs of, sealing a flower versus just using straight resin on the flower. So keep that in mind. You guys know I'm always looking for good gloves. It comes with a whole bunch of gloves. I don't know how many pairs, but there's quite a few in there. I kind of just balled them all up and put them into one. It also comes with Mylar flakes. This came in a cute little box, but I don't know what I did with that. But these are a lot of different color Mylar flakes. So imagine these colors with that mold. I mean, like, there's no end to the combos that you can make there. So, which I've been trying to find the limit, and the limit does not exist. It also comes with like a little, I love these little cups. They're so useful. Let's see. So it came with this glitter. I haven't opened this yet, but I'm pretty sure it's just little plastic discs just like these. But it's just like fine glitter. Lots of cool colors. I like the flash on that one. Love the neon, of course. Look at that, that's pretty. So yeah, a good little sampler package there. You also get a handful of charms. We did use some of these in our weekend crafting this past weekend. So there are some missing from this, so there's even more than what you see here. But lots of cool shapes. You've got some like filigree Victorian frame style. Love those. Now, the only thing that I found weird about this is they sent these bronze colored pieces, which are gorgeous, and I love them. But all of the stuff that it came with, and it came with a pack of like earrings and earring hooks and stuff, they're all silver. So all of the findings would, they were all like silver toned. but this is all brass. So I don't know, I thought that was kind of strange, but I guess ultimately, like, would you use something like one of those frames for earrings? Probably not. It also came with some key rings. That's a lot of key rings. You could do like a whole bachelorette party of key rings with this package. It also came with these necklaces. I'm not a super huge fan of them, but I do like the lobster clasps on them. So I may just take all of those off and then use the rope or something for something else. It also came with a 250 gram bottle of UV resin, clear hard type. Nothing better, I swear. It's so good. It comes with the nozzle. You replace that with that, and there's probably a little foil thing to break. But that's a lot of resin. 250 grams, pretty good. And then of course, they sent, the kit comes with this light. Now this light is tiny, and we'll open it up and I'll show you, but it's tiny, but it's mighty. And what I always look for in a light, when I want to make sure that it's going to work really well with the resin that I like to use, I look for wavelength. So a lot of people will get fixated on this watt. Watts are not important. I mean, basically watts are just like how much energy it takes to shine a light onto your desk. That's what watts has to do with. The nanometers, which is what I always look for, that indicates what the wavelength is of the UV light. So like the purple, it's on a certain wavelength, and then this determines what that is. So this is a wavelength of 365 to 405. I always say I look for 395. So that's perfect. It is a good light. It is just small. If you're only working on one project at a time, you know, you're gonna be fine. But if you're trying to do like I said, a bachelorette party, and you're trying to make a bunch of like keychains or something, it's not gonna be ideal. But what's helpful about this is it came with the kit. You didn't have to go out and buy one separately, and you can try it out and decide, is this a hobby I want to get into? And if it is, then you can either keep using this until you outgrow it, or you can go out and get, you know, a light that has a wider range so that you can work on more things at once. So yeah, I mean, it's a good light. It's gonna do the projects that are basically possible within this box. This will definitely cover those. Folds up really nicely, and you know, it's got the different timestamps here, so you'd be able to decide how long you want the light to shine. Yeah, so I mean, it's a good little starter kit here. I think that just for the bottle of resin that you're getting, 250 grams, like that is basically the same price as this kit. So I mean, and then you're getting all this other stuff too. So I think this is really cool. Like, that's why I think these are great places to begin if you're new to resin. It's also a cool gift, as long as you know that the person doesn't have, you know, like a skin sensitivity. If they are allergic to, like, if they've ever had a reaction when getting gel nails done, then there's a possibility that they could be allergic to resin. So you would want to avoid something like this. But okay, so I'm gloved up in my comically large gloves. This isn't gonna work for me. Okay, so I pulled some of the stuff out, the usual suspects, as I would say, the Mylar flakes, some flowers. I brought out that mold, and then I brought the key ring. Don't know what I'm gonna do with whatever I make, so I'm gonna just have those on standby. And I'm gonna set this right over here. And then I have my mold. Let me lay something down. Let me lay something down so that you can see this better. I'm gonna use these two rectangular shapes here to make a pair of earrings. I'm gonna start by sealing some of these flowers just to make sure that they don't cause a lot of bubbles to erupt. And I really like this color here. So I've got 2 flowers. Let's see if I can find 2 that are the same size. These 2 are exactly the same size, so we'll do those instead. But I do want that little green piece. And I'll take this little green guy as well. Here we go. I'll set the rest of them aside. And I'm gonna start by sealing these. So flowers can be really tricky because you have to make sure that they're completely dry, like silica for a few weeks, put them in silica for a few weeks and let them fully dry out. Otherwise, if you have any sort of moisture at all in them, they are going to, they will start to rot, and you don't want that. It's not a good look. So I'm gonna start first by sealing those flowers. And to do that, I put a little bit of resin on this flat surface just to give myself a working space. And I'm just gonna smooth this out as best I can, just to make it a little bit more flat. And then I'm gonna place one of the green guys into that. And then I'm gonna press it down and try to get the resin to fully coat it on all sides. And again, I'm not trying to build this up or anything. I wanna keep this fairly flat. And if there's too much, like, we can trim away any excess resin, but I just wanna make sure that I keep this flower well, or the leaf here well coated. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Like that. I really love the shape of this one. Like that. And then once they're both fairly well coated, I'm gonna cure them for about, I don't know, like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, just for a little bit. Okay. Okay, so these are done. I'm gonna set them aside, and if I have to trim them later, I will. But now I'm gonna do these 2. Just a little bit less resin this time. And smooth, 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 smooth. And I'm just gonna lay it right in the center. And again, I'm pressing it down and coating it with the resin here. Now there are probably tons of easier ways to prep your flowers. I don't do a lot of projects using flowers, so I don't know all of those ins and outs, but this is just what I tend to do. Okay, and then once again, I'm gonna cure. Okay, I have my flowers prepped, and now I'm going to make my frame. To do that, I'm gonna start by filling both of these with a shallow pour of resin to give it a base. Okay, and then just for fun, I'm gonna add some mylar flakes to the frame, and I have a color here that looks pretty close to those roses or those little flowers, so I'm going to use that. So there's actually 2 that I think would work kind of nicely. Oh, there we go. So like these 2, so I think like a little bit of an umbra effect would be really cool. This kit came with a pair of tweezers that was pretty similar to this pair. So that is very helpful. I literally am not sure what I did with it. So I was playing with the kit with a friend that was visiting from out of town. So I'm just going to drop some into the bottom here. Okay, so I've done a little bit with this first color. I'm going to do a little bit more with that. And then I'm going to leave the very tops either completely clear, or I might use the clear version of these Mylar flakes. So far, this looks really pretty. Okay, so we'll drop a couple of pieces of this in. Some like really thick chunks in here. A bit too big to use right now, but I'll kind of snip them up a little bit. I love this color. Oh my gosh, this color is beautiful. I wonder if Let's Resin sells these Mylar flakes, because if so, I need a whole jar of this pink one. I actually think that that looks really cool with the clear on top, but I don't know. I think I should add just a couple of these little flakes, mostly just because they're so pretty. So I'm going to try to see if I can actually cast those flowers into this little cavity on the back side, and then maybe see if I can get that to like dangle. I'm not sure if that's going to work because it might end up being too large, but I'm going to try to keep it pretty shallow, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to just pour the shallowest little bit into the bottoms here. Spread that. Oh my goodness, freaking dog hair everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of spread that into a nice little shallow layer. And then I'm just gonna trim off any excess just to make sure that it'll fully fit inside of there. So I'm just gonna trim right here at the bottom, and then a little bit from the top, like that. Okay, so I'll put this first one down, like this. And then this one, again, this one needs a little tiny trim. That one. This one may not fit in there. It should be fine. Okay, and then I'm just gonna make sure that it's buried all the way in there. and give any little tiny air bubbles a chance to release if they're going to. I'm not overly fussed if they don't. Okay, so I'm just taking a second to kind of carve off any little excess pieces. This happens sometimes when you use a mold. It's just because the resin expands up the side. A good deburring tool would help out with this with a little less danger. But you can, just kind of deal with those however you want. You could also sand them down. All right, so I have all of my components here. I did go ahead and add jump rings to these. They're a little bit mangled because this ended up being really thick. So if you decide to try this hack, definitely make sure you don't go as thick as I did. Like, it's very, very thick, which made adding a jump ring kind of tricky. But now I'm gonna put it all together. So my plan is, I'm gonna add these smaller jump rings onto here. So I'm gonna start there. So I think one of these is already open a little bit. I'm gonna open it a bit further. Like that maybe. And these are magnetic, and you'd think that would be great, but it drives me nuts. Okay, and here. And then I'm gonna use some leverage to open that wide. Okay, so I'm gonna put one on each. And close them back up. And they're so small, so it's a little bit finicky. Okay, so this is what I came up with. So I'm gonna take this larger jump ring, and instead of putting it through the hole that the mold created, I'm just gonna put it through here, like that. And then I'm gonna feed this larger jump ring through that tiny jump ring that we added earlier, like that. And then whatever side is the front side, I want to make sure that I add this to the jump ring with the point facing back, not front. So like this. And then I'm going to close it. And then that way, when it's hanging from my ear, I'm gonna see the front part of the flower instead of the back of the flower. So that is the earring. And it could also be a keychain or a necklace or whatever, but I think these are so cute. Okay, so let me put the other one together. So again, I added that small jump ring, and I'm gonna take this and feed it on here, just right there in the middle. And then I'm gonna feed that into the small jump ring, like this. And then I'm going to make sure that when I'm looking at the front, I need the curve side to point in the same direction as the flower. So the pointy side goes toward the back. And I'm gonna put that on. Like that. And then I'll close it. And there we go. So super cute. Again, if they're too large, if they're too big for like earrings, which I know like this is a lot of earring, but you could definitely do these as either a necklace or a keychain, a bag charm, whatever whatever your little heart desires. So yeah, I'm gonna take it to the light booth and take some photos, and we'll see how she turned out. Oh my gosh, guys, I am in love with this pair of earrings. I think they're so cute, and I think this method of using the little cavity to create a second layer to the earrings really adds something special that maybe not everyone else is thinking about. So definitely I encourage you, go out, get one of these kits, try it, see what you think, and show me what you make with it, because there's so many cool projects in there. There's so many different ideas that you can explore, and it's really a great starting point for anyone who's brand new to resin. And if you want to try your own, I have a link down below. And you can either get them from Amazon or you can get them from the Let's Resin website. So definitely check out the links. Go make something awesome this week. And as always, stay rad. If you liked this project, check out how I turned some brass cuffs into gorgeous bangles. Click here.